Good to see you all. I'm Professor Arvedi, and let us continue with your next lecture of data structure. So, we are still in Module 1, Introduction to Data Structure, and this is the third topic, that is revisiting pointers. As I said in my previous lecture, we would be revising certain important concepts of programming before going ahead with data structure. So the first and very important concept that we will be studying in this lecture would be pointers. Now pointers, I hope, are not completely alien to you. You already had seen pointers and you had used pointers in your programming course. So this would be the effort for brushing up those concepts which you have already learned, because we will be learning, or rather we would be using pointers in data structure heavily. Okay, so to start with, if I just say int a, it declares an integer with 2 bytes. So I can generally say a is an integer variable. Even though in a slang language we say a is an integer, a is not an integer, a is an integer variable which is capable of storing an integer. Okay, so similarly, int star p, obviously it creates a pointer with 2 bytes. That star here acts as an indicator which decides that the type of p is not int but it is int star, and hence it is treated as a pointer. So if I just quickly give you the difference, instead of int a, if I say float a, then it will create a float variable with 4 bytes. But if I still say float star p, it will create a pointer with 2 bytes only. As we'll see ahead also, that every type of pointer will take same memory, which is actually dependent on the address. So for our discussion, we will say every type of pointer requires 2 bytes of memory. Now what pointer can store? Pointer can store address of the corresponding type of variable. So if I have an integer pointer, it is capable of storing the address of integer variable. So like I can say p equal to ampersand a. Ampersand is an operator which is used for finding the address of the given variable. Okay, so it assigns address of a, variable a, to p. We can very well say p stores address of a, or p points to a. So how do I use this p for referring a? So this is the basic answer. Star p is equal to a. Okay, so whenever I want to refer star, I want to refer a, I'll be able to use star p. Now this star here and the star which is used in the declaration are two different things. There in the declaration, when we say int star p, that star acts as a indicator, that it was just indicating that p is a pointer. But the name of the pointer was still p, not star p. Rather, the type was int star. But after I declare a pointer and I store some address in it, when I say star p, then that star is obviously an indirection operator, which is doing the reverse job of address operator. So hence address operator is sometimes called as reference. So this is called as dereference operator. So star p will give you what p is pointing to. And currently p is pointing to a. So can I use star p in place of a? The answer is yes. So you can see maybe one example given over here. If I want to write a equal to 20, I can very well write star p equal to 20. So if you visualize, star p will give you what p points to, which is a. So it is as good as making the value of a as 20. So if I want to store, let's say, value of a in some variable z, I can still do it like z equal to star p, which will obviously have the same effect. A equal to a plus 1 obviously can be given as star p equal to star p plus 1. Okay, so all these things is giving you a simple conclusion that once my p points to a, how do I refer a? Star p. Currently you see this, maybe we are referring star p instead of a, which otherwise is not required. See, the main significance of this you will understand when we'll work with functions. So you can imagine that we have a variable a in my main and the pointer is in function. See, generally if I pass a directly, then it creates a copy of it, call by value. Whereas here, if I pass address of a, and if that is being stored by a pointer in function, then when inside the function I'm going to use star p, what I'm using is the actual a which is there in main. So being in a function, if I do some changes in star p, I'll be able to change the contents of a. And that is the basic concept which we are actually trying to understand. And you know, I hope all of you know what is that called. That is called as call by reference. We'll see that as an example. Yeah, so int a, I'm maybe taking one level further, so you'll be able to see a pointer to pointer also here. Okay, so maybe let us do a bit quickly. We have seen int a, we have seen int star p, p equal to ampersand a, we've seen what it does. Now if I create int star star q, now this is called as pointer to pointer. So my q is now capable of storing address of a pointer, and hence it is being declared with double star. Okay, so currently we have p as a pointer. So can I use q to store address of p? Yes. So q equal to ampersand p, obviously your q will store address of p. And maybe if at all you try to visualize, if q points to p, my star q will give me what? P. And star star q, not the one which you've used for declaring, for dereference I'm talking about. Star star q, if you just take one star aside, star q is p, star of p is a. So can we say star star q gives me a? If you've confused, I'll repeat again. Q points to p, so star q will give you p. And because p is pointing to a, star of star q, which is nothing but star p, will give you a. Think about it. You can maybe write it down on a piece of paper and try to understand. Okay, so the conclusion is pointer stores address, which we've understood. Every pointer takes same amount of memory, which depends on the size of the address in that system. Okay, pointer cannot be assigned value directly. It can be assigned the address of existing variables only. It will be very harmful if pointers can be assigned value directly, because if at all you put some address which rather refers to, like say, system memory, I have a pointer pointing to system memory, and just by using dereference, I'll be able to change the contents of the system memory. Okay, so this we already talked about, reference and dereference. Address operator is called as reference, which is used to generate the address, and the indirection operator is called as dereference operator, which is used to get the variable back using the address. So they actually work opposite to each other. Okay, let us take an example of call by value. This is a typical example. I'll not spend too much of time on this. So you can see call by value. I've got a and b in main. Before swap, I display a and b. I'll call swap and then I display them after so-called performing swapping. So when we call swap, it goes here. X and y will get the values of a and b because it is call by value. So can we say x and y are copies of a and b? Yes. So when I swap x and y, your x and y are getting swapped. But when the function swap is over, it goes back to main. And in main, you would see your a and b are still as it is. You know what a and b are called here. They are called actual arguments. Whereas x and y are called formal arguments. And you might have seen one very, very important statement, that the changes done in formal arguments are not reflected back in actual arguments. Now, obviously, who will save us here? Here, actually, we want the function to change the actual arguments. And that is only possible if I send the reference or address. Okay. So instead of calling it this way, maybe I can use this. So see, if my swap is being called by passing address of A and address of B, I told you what is address of A? It'll be a pointer. So it is int star. Address of B, pointer, int star. So instead of int x, int y, you have int star x, int star y. Now whenever I do this, t equal to star x, what star x actually I'm referring to? A. So t gets the value of A. Star x equal to star y is nothing but A equal to B. So actually I'm storing value of B into A directly. And then star y equal to t will store the value of t, which is actually value of A, in star y, that is B. Because understand one thing, if x is pointing to A, star x in my function is nothing but referring to the original A. Y pointing to B, star y is nothing but obviously pointing to the original variable B. Okay, maybe I'll just show you the working of this, maybe using the editor, so that you'll be able to see the difference. Okay, so currently what you can see on the screen is the example that we have taken for call by value. You can see we've passed swap directly without passing the address, and accordingly we have done the swapping. So before swap, A is 5, B is 8. After swap, actually we expect them to get swap, but they will not, because this is call by value. So you can see the output. Yes, before swap, A is 5, B is 8, and after swap also they remain as it is. That proves that in call by value, the changes are not reflected back. Okay, so I'm doing the changes now. So if I have ampersand A, ampersand B, okay, int star X, int star Y, and you know how the changes should be done here. Okay, and now let us see the working. So you can see now swapping has taken place. Rather, the changes that we have done in function swap are actually done to the original variables, and that is because we were using the concept of call by reference. So I hope now you understood the basic concept of pointers, or maybe you obviously got it revised. And one of the very important concept related to it we have understood, that is call by reference. Fine. So this was a basic brush up of concept of pointers. There are many again to learn, and as you keep on using them in data structure, you will be learning them further. So in the coming lectures, we would be discussing about the concept of dynamic memory allocation, which will tell you how to allocate memory dynamically, because which is also one of the very important requirement of data structures.